Hi everyone, Aaron with AoPTech, and today we're going to be talking about another great tool in our AoPTech lending library. This is the Arduino Starter Kit. In this video we're going to talk about what it does. It's a super easy to use piece of hardware that allows you to take inputs from whether they're buttons, whether it's a sensor, or even external inputs, so like Twitter, and turn those inputs into outputs. So whether that's turning on a motor, turning on some lights, playing a cool little tune. So this video is going to walk you through everything that's in the kit, what you can do with it. I'm going to talk about all the resources we've compiled, including free curriculum and lesson plans. We're going to get started by taking a look at what's inside the Arduino Starter Kit. Okay everybody, so we're going to start off by just doing a quick run through of what's included in this starter kit. I also have included in the resource documents breakdown of exactly the number of everything which is in the kit, along with links to resources and guides, and I'll definitely provide that link in the description below. So first thing you're going to see when you open it is this Arduino projects book. This is a really great resource. So for example, each lesson it's going to go through, let me see if I can zoom in here. Each lesson it's going to go through how long the lesson is. Let's see if we get it to focus there. How long the lesson is, the fact that this project builds on previous projects. It also explains what you're going to need. It then provides not only the real-life schematic of what you're going to build, but it also provides the schematic diagram. And this is really important for people learning how to read an electronic schematics. It then goes through to include things such as how to code, and then using it, what it's going to do, how to perform the function. So a really nice guidebook. This book has been included in our digital files as well. So you can have this book prepared in advance so to take a look at it. And that's actually going to be a really great thing to do, is to look at this first before reserving it. Underneath here, and I'm going to get to this one last. So we have our Arduino board. Now I've actually already installed the board into, and I'll walk you through that. We have our motors, so our little servos here. There we go. So our little motors. We have a liquid crystal display. We have, these are called breadboard jumper wires. I'll talk about what they do. A USB cable for power is also included. This is how you're going to connect it to the computer. And there's a couple other, let's see here, stickers, things like this. This is used, there's like a little where you can make like a movie kind of thing. Paper guides here. Now, let me clear this out of the way first. So now we're going to take a look at this electronic components. So these are all the little pieces that are going to go in and be a part of your Arduino kit. And I'm just going to kind of dump them out here. So we see things from this is a little 9-volt battery lead. We have little LEDs. We have little input buttons. There are different sensors. We have multicolored LEDs. We have photoresistors. We have little filters. This is a little filter here. We have some more electronic components. Okay, and in this bag we have all the different resistors. And when you open this up, you can see this is, so some of these I have previously used, and now you can reuse these multiple times. You see this is actually how they come in the kit. So we have different resistors. And if I zoom in on these, we can see that these resistors have colored bands indicators. So, okay, so now we zoomed in. So you can see that these resistors have different color bands on them. So here we can see the fact that there's a black one here in the middle and then a gold one here at the end. And then we look at this resistor and we see the fact that it's got a red band and then a gold band here. So this is how you can tell the resistors apart. And this is also where I need a magnifying glass and a nice bright light, because these are definitely challenging to see. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the kit setup. So here on the left side, this is the Arduino board itself. So here we have the connection to power. We have another connector. We have a row on both sides for other connectors, the processors, etc. And then here on the right, this is what's called a breadboard. And what's nice about this, you can see I've actually wired up a project here already. We have some little buttons here. We have the wires connecting, running from the Arduino processor to the breadboard. We have a resistor here, and then this is a little piezo sensor, which can be both a sensor and so it can both be to detect input, or it can be used as a speaker. So in this case, so I set it up so you can play fun little songs. You see the beginning of the Jeopardy theme song there. And just so you can see what's underneath of it, not a lot on the back side of the board. The great thing about the breadboard itself is, unlike other electronics kits, there is no soldering involved. So everything is reusable. So for example, everything just sticks in. You can see the little wire here, and all I have to do is plug it in to get this button to work. This button itself pulls out, and it just has these little prongs on it, and those fit right in down into the breadboard tightly, and that's what allows this button to work. So everything is easily removable, which is really nice. However, you can see now I use some of these bigger wires, but down here I use these little tiny orange ones. Now this is where having needle nose pliers or tweezers is going to be helpful, because getting these little tiny connectors out is challenging, and you want to make sure you don't damage them, because you want to make sure you can reuse them as often as possible. So definitely a nice light, magnifying glass, tweezers are really helpful. And we're going to talk a little bit more about these little resistors. A voltmeter is going to be really helpful with these, especially if you struggle to read the complex code on them. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into the resources document. But this is a nice little overview of the breadboard and then the Arduino processor. Hey everybody, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all the AoPTech resources for the Arduino Uno Starter Kit. And certainly if you're watching this on YouTube, everything should be linked in the description below. And there are a couple things that you want to do prior to checking out this system or making a reservation. Now, I mentioned that in the kit there is this really helpful project book. And specifically, I want to point out pages 5 to 11 and then 21 to 25. Now, this book, I did find it online through this link right here. And so it has the same thing in terms of what's inside this book. So definitely take a look at pages 5 through 11 and then 21 to 25 prior to checking out. That's going to help familiarize yourself with what's in the kit, how it works, background knowledge, super important. The next thing that's really good to take a look at is there is software that comes with the Arduino kit. It's free, but you're going to want to make sure that, especially if you are doing this project with students, that you download and install everything prior to your reservation. Sometimes if you need to connect with your IT department just to make sure it works. So again, this is linked right here. Now, this software page, there are two pieces of software. You can download this for Windows, Mac, or Linux, and it will run on your machine itself. If you are primarily using Chromebooks, you're going to want to use the Arduino web editor. I default to the downloaded programs to these. I think that it makes it a little easier, especially when you get into some of the advanced lessons. But certainly if you are just using Chromebooks, this web editor is very powerful. All right, so coming down to the free curriculum and lesson plan section of this resource guide, Arduino has created an official list of all the different curriculums they have, and there's a good number of them, including both free and paid versions. From that list and from my own research, I compiled what I thought were the best ones for a middle school or high school environment. And so I've included the links here before. So this Getting Started Guide, very similar to the project book that comes with Arduino. Next one, we have some that are geared for high school lesson plans. This is a 60-minute, 4 to 6 week project unit for STEM Maker Challenges. I included this grade 9 Arduino one because it deals with the basic physical computing concepts, and I think this could be easily scaled for a 7th or 8th grade classroom as well. Following that, we have one geared directly for 13 to 14-year-olds. This is a 6-week lesson including handouts. And then a couple other, both the Arduino in a nutshell and this Instructables.com. This is really for something, if you're looking for some ideas new to electronics, if you are looking for, just for inspiration, these are great places to check out, just to see kind of, especially I love this Instructable one, once you have an understanding of what the Arduino can do, that really can take it to the next level. Now, not included in the kit, but definitely going to be helpful, are these helpful tools. So everything from, I mentioned tweezers or needle nose pliers, a good light source, because a lot of it you're really trying, especially when we get down to reading the resistors, you're looking at very tiny little color strips. A magnifying glass would be helpful, and a multimeter. Now I did find one for about $10 on Amazon. It's not required, but definitely would be helpful to have around. In this guide underneath, we have some basic pictures of what's in the kit, including a breakdown of the starter kit contents. Now within this, so we see it has 6 photo transistors, and if you are interested in the specifics for each one of these items, Arduino has linked to kind of the materials guide for each device. And so from here you can get the exact breakdown of its ratings, its working temperature, schematics, and they did this for each one of their kits, including, you'll notice we have a number of different resistors here. We have 220 ohms, 560, 1K, 4.7K, 10K, 1 mega ohm, and 10 mega ohms. So when we get to the resistors, this is where, for me personally, I struggled because I wear thick glasses and I'm getting up there in age, and reading the little color codes was very challenging. Now, on page 41 of the book, it includes this guide where it teaches you how to read the different resistor band codes. And I have bookmarked this is in this guide as well. I have also included some other helpful resources, including this resistor guide link right here. Definitely helpful to look at. Talks about how to read the resistors. They're read from left to right, gold or silver at the, and there's usually a gap. Now on the resistors in our kit, seeing that gap, and that gap is supposed to indicate the direction, which way is left, which way is right. I had a really hard time seeing that, and that's why I definitely recommend that multimeter, because that's going to be a lifesaver versus trying to actually read the resistor code. So that was one area where I struggled. We have Arduino's introduction, their Getting Started guide, and then there's libraries. And so I played this little keyboard song on mine. So those tones I had to pull from an existing library, and there's a link right here that brings you to all the other Arduino libraries. If you're looking for software and troubleshooting advice, we have that here. And then all the way at the bottom of this document are the resistor codes. And that's that gap right there that I was talking about. Here's that gold or silver band at the end where that magnifying glass is going to be helpful. So a quick little overview of what's in the Arduino kit along with some helpful resources and guides. The Arduino is a great introduction to computing and coding, and it really is that gateway into maker projects where you can take something and really take it to the next level. It's a really powerful resource. I hope you have a great time building, creating, and inventing with it. And I look forward to hearing how you are using the Arduino Uno in your classroom. So tell us about it in the comments below. Thank you so much, Aaron, for AoPTech. Have a wonderful day.